All right, we are live. Welcome in. We are crashing in live. Just as the Red Sox just crashed out hard
That
in their
season
season
crashed.
in a lifeless 4-0 loss to the Yankees in Game 3 of the Wild Card Series. The Sox go down 2-1, and yeah, we hate them again. We liked them. We had one day of good vibes, guys, and then we lost it. There's a lot to talk about.
What happened?
This felt like Celtics Knicks Game 6.
Guys, I tried to I will say this. I really felt something. And that's really ultimately what I wanted. I wanted to feel something. It's been a while. The Sox gave me that. Little playoff baseball gave me that. I'll be honest though, I thought I was going to be feeling a lot happier by the end of this series than I am now. So this kind of brings me back to the dark days a little bit. So hello, darkness, my old friend. We're back. This is kind of how Boston kind of used to feel a lot, right, John? I mean, you were there for it. Maybe we need this. Maybe we need these dark. All the days need to be dark right now. It's always darkest before the dawn.
Yeah, I can get into my boomer takes about what it used to feel like versus what is now. I can say,
of course, it's not.
If 2003 was the worst moment of my sports watching life,
you lost to Boone again.
This is 0.00001% of that feeling. So no, I mean, because again, when it all gets said and done, we can look at what this team actually was and recognize that the stuff that you said with the good vibes and all of that, Jimmy, was a gift for people who like their summers filled with baseball, like it when the Red Sox matter. We talked about it on night one. There's a little bit more juice in the city when that happens. Everybody's feeling up. There's that sense of camaraderie, like we're doing this thing. But we knew that this was a pretend team. You fooled ourselves. You fool yourself into believing that there's a chance because the Yankees aren't that strong. Toronto's not that strong. I mean, it was a wide open AL, but this team being not that talented to begin with, also with the injuries that they suffered, they were basically a one-man team entering the postseason, and that was Crochet, and they won that game. And then there really was nothing else going for this team right now, and they lose, and probably deservedly so. I don't think they deserve to win this series. If they played better baseball, better fundamental. So? No, I mean, look, you can't get mad at them
after what you saw. I got you.
Yeah, you can't get mad at them for playing poor fundamental baseball or being bad defensively because that's their identity. They're just that they're not that good at that. So, let's break down this game and where it was all lost because again, just like yesterday, it's very easy to pinpoint. First off, I'll let you know again. Show as always is brought to you by Prize Picks, #1 daily fantasy sports app in all of North America. Download that app today. Use code CLNS. Get 15-year lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Once again, code CLNS. Download the app. 15-year lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, run your game, and Game Time. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Again, code CLNS, $20 off your first purchase. Get into anything you want to see. World Cup, good luck with that. What's the cheapest get-in ticket right now? Face value?
$15K.
No, Jesus, Bobby, come on, you ruined it. That's absurd.
World Cup?
For like the game 1 qualifying round.
Never mind.
15K, dude.
15K. I saw some 15, 16K for some tickets.
Those are some good seats. Anyway, check out Game Time. $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply. Okay, guys. So Sox lose. Easy to pinpoint where this went down. Again, Connolly early was phenomenal, and I don't feel any different about him after that fourth inning debacle where the Yankees scored all of their runs than I did in the first 3 when he looked lights out. The kid can pitch. He's great. Mixes his stuff. Both sides of the plate. Changes eye level. Changes speeds. Really, really maximizes his stuff. Keeps people off balance. I like a lot of what I see. That fourth inning is not his fault. Just bleeps and bloops. The little blooper in the center that was the second baseman's ball. Everyone's going to say Rafaela should have caught it. Second baseman's ball, but Romy stopped moving. He took like 4 steps. Ridiculous. And then 3 balls on the infield. Granted, the one that got by Story at short was hard enough hit where you can make a case. But another one past Gonzalez at second, the error by Lowe at first. I mean, you had to get 7 outs that inning. Essentially, it was just brutal baseball, and he bled out there. It was frustrating. Yeah, it was frustrating to watch.
Yeah,
I mean, even Cora said it in the in-game interview. You don't get managers to be very candid. But he said it. He said exactly what we were saying. He's like, yeah, kid was great. He's like, we didn't play defense behind him. Nothing was hit hard. What are you going to do? And that's it. That happened.
Yeah,
done.
It showed in the fielding, independent pitching, stat someone tweeted out there. I still feel like just what we've been talking about, right? The quick hook on Bayo, we like that. Staying with Crochet, we like that. We knew this was going to probably be like a 4-ish inning game at best from early here. And so, I'm fine with the way the inning's progressing there, right? Like the Bellinger thing, it's the fielding. You walk Stanton, which I like, put him on first, not much of a threat as a base runner, pitched around him. I like that. Great strikeout on Rice. And then you give up the, bloop single to left, which Duran, when we'll get to him, should have thrown the guy out. I mean, that was definitely a play that should have been made at the plate from the position he was in, the runner and all that. So it's 1-0 there. You pitch to Jazz, lefty, fine. He gets the hit. Stanton's on third, can't score. So you're in a good spot there still, 1-0, even though there's no out, 1 out. And then you have a righty come up in Volpe, and like that's where I'm like, all right, it's not about early. I'm not saying early was struggling or doing anything extraordinarily wrong, but it's a righty lefty matchup. It's a pretty good hitter. At that point, I think it's a good point in the game to get into the bullpen and do what you did the night before. And he gets the hit. Wells gets the hit through the error, and it's 4-0 and the game's over. So it was a split-second decision, but I would have taken him out after the Jazz.
He was, you can nitpick there, but it's just he was pitching well. It doesn't matter if the bullpen comes in. I know he wasn't though. That's the point. He wasn't at all. They were
getting the bat on the ball.
Like, what do you want to do? He's striking guys out and inducing ground balls. Like that's pitching. He was pitching well. So again, they're not smoking rockets to the outfield where you're like, oh God, they're squaring him up. Right. He's still got him just kind of, just nubbing balls on the ground. I'm not going to get into that part, but look, fine. You give up some runs. This lifeless offense.
You can't score 0.
You can't score. And
they would have lost 1-0 if they did pull him and do everything perfectly.
It doesn't matter. It's like, this is how I felt all postseason. Is you're like, when do the good hitters come up? And the answer is never, and that's the sad part about it is like, like you can nitpick everything you want, but as long as this team is filled with Sogards and Romy Gonzalez and Rob Refsnyder,
Sogard was great,
and Nate Eatons and Nathaniel Lowe's, as long as that's what your lineup is, these journeymen, these guys, these 28-year-old rookies and journeymen, like that's what you're gonna get. That can't be this looks like in fantasy football. This is the week where like 8 of your guys are on bye and 2 of your guys are injured. Like that's the lineup
this is week 13.
They're putting out there every week.
This is week 13, but the difference is you shouldn't be in the playoffs. Like you're in 9th place. You're just you just don't want to be in the toilet bowl. That's how it felt like.
Your best hitter in the series was Yoshida.
It was, and guess what? He didn't start
old school Red Sox. Grab one of those lineups and just look at it and be like, "Oh, that's a lot of good players." Like, then look at this one and be like, It's like the major league. Who are these fucking guys?
Well, I don't want to go there yet, but I never wavered about the Devers trade. I feel like everybody slowly got to the point where they were like, yeah, they were better. The Giants fell apart. What are you going to do? It probably was the right move. He was causing trouble. You gave up your best player for nothing. And that's just something that's going to come back to haunt you. Like, I never wavered on that move. I think it's still, to this day, not a great move. Harrison was on the playoff roster and they never used him. you had to put Hicks, who's going to be here next year, on the injured list to
Bobby,
get him out of there.
Bobby, it's two separate arguments. They didn't trade Devers for the return. In fact, they could have gotten better return. The problem was they didn't want to pay a penny for Devers. So
Right.
the amount of teams even able to make that trade were significantly, reduced in that moment. They just wanted to get away from Devers completely. They didn't want the money.
Yeah, they wanted to
use that
be out
money
of the
to
Devers business. Yeah.
sign Anthony with that money or whatever. Do whatever they could do with that money, and they did that stuff. To your point, Bobby, the only real argument you have is that it came back to bite them in this series because Devers, as we all know,
He was the Yankees killer.
he's the Yankees killer. But do the Red Sox even get to that point? Who knows? Are they able to sort of turn things around? And we don't really know how much of a locker room negative Devers was. I'm sure it seemed like he was. I didn't hear a single player in that team say they missed Devers one time this year.
Yeah, I mean, it
including the
already
day
went
he was shipped
downhill
out.
after spring training. Like
Right.
that.
Right. So I think it had to
issue-
be done. I think they probably won a lot of. I still think they won games because of the trade, but their luck ran out. They rode this wave as long as they could. They exceeded expectations. They played, above their, pay grade, if you will. And Anthony went down. Cassis went down at the beginning of the year. Giolito went down. Not that he was like the savior, but I mean that was you're gonna be your second guy off the mound yesterday. They didn't make any deadline deals, which I talked about yesterday, which I think was the real killer. Getting rid of Devers isn't the reason they couldn't get past the Yankees. It's because they refused to add anybody at the deadline, and there were players out there. Put a comment up earlier. Merrill Kelly would have helped them this series.
Guess what they're gonna
Absolutely.
say tomorrow, Jimmy? They're gonna go, "Oh, we were hurt. What are we gonna do?" Like that's gonna be the end of season press conference. We'll be healthy next year.
This is what bugs me about the Red Sox, and I hate getting into this now that they've lost because it's like we were rah-rah in game one, but like this is why it's difficult. It's why it's
But
difficult.
We even
to get
said that night if they lost that game, we would have been having this conversation.
It's less that. It's more the philosophical argument. It's difficult to get into this team when you know they're half in, half out. You know what I mean? It's like they're in, but not really all the way in. We'll dip a toe in, and that's fine.
Right.
We'll
keep it interesting.
We'll do the deals where we sign the kids because those are lower risk. There and we'll do the Anthony and the Rafaela and the Christian Campbell deals and spend the money there. But we're not giving $40 million to free agents, and we're not going to do this, and we're not going to do that. And, Devers was too expensive, even though he's actually probably a bargain. Like all of that stuff, it just weakens you. It's, it makes it a lot harder for them to be competitive. And who knows what Bregman does next year? What are you going to do? Re-sign Story at this point? Like, you got to find some juice on this team, and you got to go for it. You've got kids now. You've got talent coming up here. This is a time you've got an ace. You got to build around it. Otherwise, you're just going to be here. And, you get into the playoffs, and then it's going to be the illusion of like, well, everything's kind of okay. Is it?
No, it wasn't.
It's not. There's still a lot of things wrong here with the team in general. And I'm really curious to see what it's going to look like. Are they going to spend money? What are you going to get out of Campbell? What are you going to get out of Mayer coming back? Which player is Rafaela? The guy who was like borderline MVP candidate, all-star snub with the third highest, WAR, prior to the all-star break, or this friggin' bum who's just flailing at everything that's thrown up there. Just a negative.
Can't see the ball at the plate. Can't see the ball on the field. I don't know
what happened.
They hit him fifth tonight.
He's in my bottom. I don't know why, Bobby. That was a bizarre placement for him. He's in my bottom
because
three
there's
guys.
nobody in that lineup. Yeah,
Duran, him, and I don't know. Take your pick on the next bum. But this, John, we texted about it briefly. There is good news. This is a Red Sox team that does have a future. There's a lot of young guys on this team that can help, that will theoretically get better. And I think the Red Sox can continue to, move in the right direction. All that being said, this is baseball. And the best teams go out there and they spend money and they sign the guy. They don't have to go full Dodgers, Bobby, but they have to go at least somewhat in that direction.
Think of how far away they are from that.
Right. But they have they do have a young core, but it's complementary. You've got young guys, you mix them with a star here, a star there, and now you've got something. They started that process, but this offseason, they're primed to make a splash. They have the money. It's freaking baseball. There's no like NBA 1,000 rules that you have to follow, and you can't go, you'll get hard capped and this and the second apron, blah, blah, blah. No, it's just freaking baseball. And rich people end up getting taxed a little bit because they spent more than what they should have. Who freaking cares? So there's no excuse for the Red Sox not to go out there and spend. If there's a free agent or two out there, if there's a pitcher, bring in another pitcher. If there's a batter, bring in another batter. Do something to pair with these young up-and-coming players. Doesn't make any sense to go out and get one guy like Bregman on a one-year deal and put nobody around him.
I know, and you're even gonna keep him. Like, it's conceivable
right,
you can lose guys this offseason.
He's gonna opt out. So yeah, exactly. You don't want to be in a situation where you somehow got worse when we should be getting better. So that's my concern, I guess, or that's my hope going into the offseason, is that that's the Red Sox, that they see that I mean, guys, I hope John Henry paid it. I hope John Henry even knows they made the playoffs, because
he was there in the clubhouse that night.
Actually was buzz. There was buzz. It doesn't take much to get fans interested in baseball, and especially in Boston. It just is. It's like,
well, let's
like
compare
in your
to
DNA.
2021.
No,
and again, you have the
DNA.
youth. You have the youth this time around, some forward direction, but that playoff was great, and you beat the Yankees in this round that year, and you upset the Rays, and you get everybody invested again, and then you don't do anything the next 2 years, and you're out of the playoffs again, and no one cares again, and then all the way up to the Devers trade, which
but you
if
still
you weren't
had
on this
professional baseball players on that team. You had Bogarts, you had Devers, you had
but you let it all go. You let
it wasn't.
let
I mean, you had
go,
the magical series for Kike
You let
Hernandez was
Eovaldi
terrific
go.
that year. You had JD Martinez. You had Hunter Renfroe that year hitting 30 homers or so.
Right, those are all MLB
go.
players.
Those were actual MLB players. So
yeah, no, and that's why you went to the ALCS rather than the wild card round. But
there's this team has a handful of MLB players. Again, miracle they made it this far, and injuries are legit. Crawford and Houck, they're really, really, really just smoked them. And then with the pitchers, and then Giolito here in the playoffs. Those are. I mean, you would have had a much more competent lineup. Their bullpen held up pretty well all season. There's just not enough professional hitters on this team. Just not.
It's unbelievable that they finished as high as they did offensively.
Yeah. It's unbelievable. Weird smoke and mirrors. There's just how many batters in that lineup, and you're like, this guy's coming up.
They finished 7th in runs.
It's insane. It's insane to me. I don't get it.
Yeah,
I don't either.
I mean, there were a lot of nights during the year though where they just had nothing. And you
killed all the juice not having Roman Anthony, because he's a difference maker, and he was their best player, and honestly one of the best players in baseball at this point. So again, massive overachievement to reach this far. You can't get mad at those guys, but you can look at the roster and be like, this is miles from good enough here. So they're going to have to, in addition to get healthy, like Jimmy said, spend. Do some
seriously spend. If you want to be mad at any owner, it's baseball owners, because they have the power to spend the money.
What's so funny? This is an aside. My friend was telling me this the other day. The White Sox, their active payroll to end the year. Do you want to guess what it was?
No.
The 52 million.
17 million.
Shut up.
That's actually nuts.
17 million.
That is crazy. That is actually crazy. Do what the
it's a disgrace.
Red Sox should do what they did. One of those guys is Kyle Teal, catcher that the Red Sox traded over to Chicago. And guess what? He looks like he's going to be a great player. But
I think you still do that trade.
Exactly. Does anybody regret doing that trade? Yeah. Absolutely not. Bring in the stars. Bring in the big name guys. Bring in the guys that are going to win you games next season, because you're actually not that far off. One or two guys in that lineup, John, changes everything. A healthy Roman Anthony, bringing in another bat or two. It looks like Early and Tolley are guys that you might actually be able to rely on out of the rotation next year. I don't know what their plans are with both those guys.
But you need a number 2, because Bayo's not it.
Oh, of course not. Bayo is not your number 2. You need to go out and get a number 2. That should be That is one of your two priorities. Go get a bat for the middle of the order and go get a number 2 pitcher. Two things that they can do. It's whether or not they go out there and do it. If John Henry gives the green light, the Red Sox can go out there and do that. I'm telling you though, a couple years ago, I thought that the Red Sox didn't have a pulse. I thought that there's the gong again, John. Zero.
What? I didn't even hit it.
You absolutely did. Zero interest in the team. No pulse, no nothing. Couple years into it now, they're drumming up some interest. There's some young players. It's kind of fun to watch games again. I know there's probably a lot of people that still aren't, but it happens fast. Boston gets rallies around the Red Sox like unlike any other team, I would say. And if the Red Sox did advance tonight or last night, like they should have, it would have been really buzzing in the city going into that ALDS against Toronto. There would have been a lot of interest over the weekend, and it would have been fun. So I hope that the Red Sox can just see that, just do what it takes to put yourself in that position again. They actively chose not to the last couple of years. Maybe they wanted to develop guys, whatever the excuses they want to give. But now they're at a point where they can pair some of those young guys with already proven MLB talent and really make a splash. Go for the division. It's right there. Again, they could have beaten this Yankees team. Yankees did have a better lineup offensively. Just
Clearly.
bottom. They did, but they were still beatable, John. The Red Sox had this series,
Of course.
and they blew it. It doesn't take much.
Yeah, and it felt like they were there for the Minnesota guy with Joe Ryan before the deadline, and
I don't know
they
how
said they didn't
available
want-
he actually was. That was the
Yeah.
rumor, and he ended up going
they
nowhere.
said they didn't want to give up players on the active MLB roster. And when I look at it now, I mean, there are guys who maybe had value earlier in the year who probably
Were they
don't have a ton now.
Duran? Because oh my god,
Can't be.
talk about botching an asset
His-
there. If
His
anybody
value
believes
is zero.
Bobby, if you remember what I was saying about him last year when he was playing well, and you were kind of like, well, I'm like, nope, this is a 1-year thing. This is not real. And absolutely a player they should have looked to trade in the offseason for pitching. Absolutely. Especially since they knew they had a logjam because they had Anthony coming up. They had Rafaela. They thought that, Campbell might have been in the outfield. We're not sure where he was going to play. It made all the sense in the world, and now that asset is worth absolutely zero. So they are smoked a little bit there. We're going to continue on, and we're not going to go too long.
We got to
here tonight,
talk
but
about
first
him
off,
for a couple minutes.
we're going to talk about Duran for sure, but let's tell you about our pals over at Prize Picks right now. And you know what this is. #1 daily fantasy sports app in all of North America. Pick more, pick less, up to 2,000 times your cash. It is that easy, and it's that fun. Check it out. You see it right here. Code CLNS. Get 50 in your lineups when you play 5. Once again, 50 in your lineups when you play 5. Lots of great promotions throughout the week. There's always either reduced yardage markers for football games or essentially free squares for a lot of basketball. You get like the, more, on 0.5 points for someone who is going to score a bunch of points. Those are always great. So check those out. And once again, sign up today. You see that code up there, CLNS. Get 50 in your lineups instantly when you play a $5 lineup. Once again, Prize Picks, run your game. Let's get to it a little bit. What's going on with our boy Jarren Duran? Just everything bad. Jimmy had the great line in our little text thread. It was a jog off between Stanton and Duran on that ball hit the left field.
What is that? Like, was that a playoff game or was that game like 3 in March? That was crazy. First of all, Stanton, I expect to see that from Stanton. He's a home run pimper. I don't know. He was way off on that one though, because that hit the bottom of the fence.
But the bottom of the fence.
What is wrong with Duran though? Okay,
so it did.
Duran comes off.
He saw him pimping it too, and he thought it was gone.
He comes off as this like big gamer. He's got the eye black. He's got the, he's like ready to go. You look at him and say, oh my God, this guy was built to like run the bases and dive and be the hero. And then he goes out there and he flatlines and he's jogging around in the outfield. He's non-existent at the plate. The check swing to end the inning was it in the 8th was just chef's kiss on his series, honestly.
Yeah, he had an awful strikeout late in the game 2 as well. 1 for 11 in the series. the playing left is just inexcusable. I mean, at this point in the year, home run or not, you're flying out there full speed. I always say that everything about like the jog plays in baseball, you ground out, you just jog up the line, you walk off hit, you're just watching it go. You're only running so much every game. Why not go hard the moment you have to run? And he's just jogging to the wall, stands, watching it fly, like you
He's
said.
halfway to first.
And you still have a play on him at second because
He's the
moving
slowest
so
guy in the
slow.
league. Yeah.
So I know it didn't hurt them because they get out of that inning, but think of the momentum if the Yankees think they hit this home run to go up 1-0, and all of a sudden Stanton's out at second, because he's jogging. Instead, it's this deflating moment for you where you're like, what's this guy out in left field doing? He's been so bad all series. And then, as I mentioned later in the inning that blew the game, just a pretty rough throw home on another play that probably should have been there. The fielding's been bad with him. I know he was better last year, but you remember the play where he lost the ball and gave up an
he's
inside the
dreadful.
park grand slam.
He was unplayable this year. He was so bad defensively. He was atrocious.
So I think everybody's ready to see him go. I don't know what you even get for him at this point, but feels like he's not back next year, which I think we're all ready to be done with that experiment.
It's too bad. I actually thought that he was going to be a guy that would stick around, and be kind of.
He finished one MVP last year. He was like top 5, 6, something like that.
He had a great year.
Can he really fall out that fast? Can he really fall off that fast?
You might have to keep him just to restore his value. I don't know, but
I mean, he's not making anything.
Yeah,
I mean, that's John Henry's favorite part about the guy. Probably is that he's making peanuts.
The outfield's going to be hard to configure here. You still have Yoshida making a ton of money. He can't play the outfield. I don't think he can be your DH. They've got a weird situation out there.
They've got like 5 outfielders, but none of them are great. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's almost like I don't even want to choose between these guys. Like, just go get another guy and just start over. It's like nobody out there can play like every day. It feels like it's always core. Like tonight's a perfect example. You get Yoshida, you get Abreu. You didn't see either of those guys start the first couple. It's like, are they really that bad on the opposite side? Where, if you were good enough, you're playing every game. Regardless, you just figure it out. So they definitely have a lot of decisions to make. I don't know. Breslow's got his work cut out for him. I always struggle. I've felt this way since basically Theo Epstein left. Is like, how much power do these? Actually, not. No, I would say not Epstein. Who's the other one?
Bloom.
No.
Ben Cherington.
No, that's the example I want to give. But the one that won a World Series came from Detroit.
Dombrowski, yeah.
Dombrowski, he had actual say on the team. I feel like none of these other guys actually have a real say. I mean, obviously, Chaim Bloom had 0 say in my
Dombrowski's say got him fired because Henry's like, I want you to stop doing what you're doing. He's like, no, and that was it.
Right. Well, basically, they allowed Dombrowski to drain the minor leagues.
Yeah,
which
he gutted the system, got him a World Series, wanted to keep doing his thing. Henry said, stop. Dombrowski said, no, I'm in charge. And he said, well, goodbye. That was it.
And then since then, what's he done, John? He's hired a bunch of guys that will just bend the knee to him and do whatever he says. And he basically allows them to do nothing. And then they have to go up there and talk to the media and, try to hide the fact that they actually don't have any power because that makes them look like little bitches in a way, right? So that's what we've been doing for a while. I want to know if that's going to change with Breslow.
It is hard to tell who's doing what in this organization.
Yeah, I know.
I
guess we got to little. Trust me, if these GMs could spend, you don't think they would? It's not their money. Anytime they don't, it's not because they don't want to. They can say whatever they want. They can use analytics and blah 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 and all the nerd speak they want. But at the end of the day, they call up John Henry and they ask him if he'll cut the check. And if he says no, then they have to figure out what the hell they're going to do instead. And that's really what it comes down to. So if John Henry wants to open up the wallet, like he should, because it's baseball and you can, then the Red Sox will be in a good position next year. If he doesn't, then you're going to get Breslow going up there and throwing numbers out at you. Duran will be back. a lot of the similar faces will be back. You probably won't see Bregman again because he came on a 1 year. The only reason he came is because they knew it was going to be a 1 year deal. They knew it was going to be a 1 year deal, and they're fine with the 1 year deal. They don't want to be tied into anyone long term. That's the difference.
You don't think he's sunk enough to maybe opt in?
He's a Cashman guy. Absolutely not. They will find a way to get him.
You mean Boris?
Sorry, he's a Boris guy. What did I say? Cashman?
Yeah.
He's a Boris guy. They will find a way to get him.
They'll get him the Cashman.
They'll get him the Cashman money.
Yeah, who knows? Anyway, we're gonna go on a few more minutes, and curious what you guys have to say in the comments here. Real quick, want to tell you guys about our pals. What, Jimmy?
This comment.
Jimmy.
What? Oh yeah.
Jimmy.
Sorry.
Jimmy. Thank you. We want to tell you about our friends over at Game Time right here. You want to take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. You see the offer on the screen. Code CLNS, $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply. Best seats, lowest price, all that. You see it right there. The panoramic view from your seat. Terrific. All-in pricing. No hidden fees at checkout. Game Time is the place to go when you need tickets to your favorite game, concert, what have you. Check it out with Game Time. Once again, code CLNS, $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply. There it is right there, my friends. All right, go ahead, Jimmy. What were you going to say?
No, I was gonna just put this comment up from Shooter McGavin here, who says I don't know ball, which he's entitled to that opinion. But we spend and we will spend. We couldn't land Soto or Yamamoto. That's the classic fake offer, John, that drives you crazy and me too. Where
oh my god,
they're one of the teams that are interested or involved in some capacity, but they actually realistically never had a chance, and they didn't. They got exactly what they wanted. They got their name out there to make it seem like they were going to spend, but then they didn't actually spend. So don't fall for that, Shooter. You're better than that.
I got one more thing on this series. I'm going to do my famous screen share, John.
What do you got? A shot chart?
Oh, we love this.
Look at that. Speaking of Duran.
I don't even know what I'm looking at.
I have no idea what I'm looking at.
Series win probability added. Obviously, Crochet's at the top. Duran, negative 23%. Oh, shoot.
What does that mean? Can you explain what this means to the non-nerds out there?
Wins added, that sort of thing.
So when he plays, they have a 23% chance to lose? More of a chance to lose?
Yes. He
that seems
reduced their chance to win the series by 23%, I would think.
And that's defense not included right there.
Defense not included would have been even worse.
So you're telling me that Connolly early gave them a negative 21% chance to win after what we saw tonight out of Connolly early.
Garbage. Nerd.
I don't like
nerd stats,
stat.
Bobby. Get them off the screen.
This is what's wrong with baseball. This is why you want to know why people are tuned out of baseball? Because of those stats. Just watch how about just watch the game?
Just keep it simple. They need better players. They don't have enough good ones. They have to go get more. There's promising things on the team and on the roster. You definitely want to see, Marcelo Mayer stay healthy for a season. You want to see Christian Campbell back in the majors. That would be nice. Boy,
tough.
that was a weird story that he never even got a whiff of coming back up here. But it is what it is. You want to see. We got to figure out what type of player Ceddanne Rafaela is. Is he he's
an enigma. I have no idea.
Is he Jose Iglesias, the center fielder? Is he just a glove? Is he Jackie Bradley?
He's not even Jackie Bradley right now. Bradley had those spurts of hitting.
He had some, but he was a dreadful hitter with a massive hole in his swing.
Bad.
Rafaela turned it when he started pulling the ball. When they were on him like crazy early in the year because he was hitting fly balls to the opposite field. When he started pulling the ball, all of a sudden things started happening for him, but he just really, really, really disappeared late. So again, you want to see if his approach can change to the point where he can contribute some offensively because he is the best defensive center fielder in baseball, and that is worth a ton. That's worth a ton. That's worth a ton. But then you just need better players. They need more good players. You got lucky. Giolito gave you a better season than you expected, given, what you thought you were getting when you signed him. You had some injury, bad luck. But I mean, even prior to it, Houck was terrible before he got hurt. So I don't know what's going on with him. You
There's
just
so
need
many
more. You
decisions.
need
Like
more. You need more.
who's playing second base? It's still a revolving door. I don't love Cassis, even coming back and probably giving you
Oh,
better
he's a
option than what
big
you
goof.
have.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't feel great. He can't stay on the field either, which is a big problem. They're probably okay at catcher for the most part, but there's still so much to address on this team. And what kills me, I said this the other day, you get this season out of Chapman, you get this season out of Whitlock, and it mostly goes to waste. And obviously Whitlock played a role in your downfall late, but those guys were almost perfect. And when you have that kind of perfection at closer and setup, that's tough. But they still found a way to blow a million games this year. They probably should have been in the division race. They're just a weird season. It made you feel good by the end of it, but like John said to open the show, the true colors showed over the
Yeah.
final two games
Again,
here.
this is who they are, who we thought they were, and it's a team that just simply doesn't have enough talent. Doesn't have enough talented players.
How about
in
this
lineup.
Crochet year you wasted too? You get one playoff start out of him, and it was
Yeah.
definitely a memorable one. But
Welcome to being a Pirates fan.
yeah,
It's they made the playoffs, so it's different. But again, it's Crochet, it's Anthony. You're thrilled with what you have with Chapman, but that's not a long-term investment. And then after that, you're going to kind of shrug your shoulders and hope that some of the kids turn into something, and that John Henry opens up the purse strings.
Totally, I still love Early. I think they got some young pitchers that can help. It's the offense that I'm a little worried about, honestly.
Yeah, and again,
sure.
I'm as excited about Anthony as I've been about any young player in the last 20 years. Like, he is, again, you talk about a guy who has the it.
20,
100%.
like if you do like the top 10 guys under age 25 or whatever, he's
I'm more confident that he has.
number one.
Like I said, you knew you had something great with Jason Tatum, very
yeah,
early
here
on.
we
But
go.
like,
I was wondering if you're gonna go.
I
there.
was wondering too.
but I never in my life I look at Jason Tatum and see MVP. I see Roman Anthony. I'm like, this could be the best player in baseball for 7-8 years. Like,
I'm gonna hold you to this one, John.
But that's just what he looks like. You thought that about Nomar, and he fizzled. Like, Nomar, instantly, you're like, this is awesome, a top two player in baseball. Like, you know what I mean? Is like, but he had that almost right away. So yeah, 100%.
So you're saying Roman to Major League Baseball is better than Tatum to National Basketball Association?
No, I mean, if he has a career close to Tatum's, it's actually would be an upset, because I mean, you're talking about top 5. I'm saying you look at him and you say his ceiling is not. You're as excited about him as you could be anybody, because his ceiling is best player in baseball. Like,
you look at him as a
good
perennial MVP of the AL, as Tatum, you don't think will
type candidate.
Yeah, Tatum will actually, at this point, he won't.
It's good that you know who he is. He came out this year almost fully knowing who he is, and it's great. Meyer and Campbell and even Tolley and Early, as great as they were late, there's just
Meyer and Campbell, are they the real
sample
deal?
size yet. No, I mean, based on what we've seen so far, we can't say yes. We just didn't see enough of them, and
What about Cassis?
I don't think we saw enough. He's at least shown something, but he's missed a lot of games.
He's a big dumb donkey.
Kind of a dink, right? Too.
No, he's fine. He's just weird. He's just goofy. He's not a dick. Yeah. He's a bit of an
probably someone you have to roll with next year. Again, what value does that guy have at this current moment?
Who knows? There'll be a lot of time to assess it, but what I am happy is that we were able to kind of welcome you guys into our little baseball universe, where we were trying to up our baseball coverage here at CLNS as time goes forward. Bobby Manning did a phenomenal job covering the team for us down the stretch here. Expect to see more Red Sox coverage here at CLNS.
It's like our baseball going baby.
Forward.
Yeah, it was born, and now we're going to nourish it, and we're going to take care of it, and we're going to yell.
Yeah. I hope next year.
Yeah.
Here's my final word. I mean, I hope next year you're looking at a team where you're like, all right, it's go time. Here we go. Like, this is actually a team that's going to have expectations. This isn't going to be a team where we're sitting there game 162. Are they in the playoffs or not? They should be squarely in the playoffs next year. That's the kind of team they should have. Maybe not a championship contender yet, but we shouldn't be saying going into next year, oh, maybe they'll make the playoffs. I think that has to be guaranteed, whatever they do.
My final say is this. I'm hoping and praying that we do our first Fenway Report emergency podcast this offseason, guys.
With
after the Red Sox make a big splash. Because
winter meeting.
winter meetings, off-season baseball, the hot stove. Everybody loves that stuff.
Were you with us at NBC when they pulled off those double moves like at 1 a.m. when they signed what's his name? Jesus Christ.
Hanley?
Gonzalez and then Crawford that offseason.
Yeah. I was there. Yeah, I was there. But I was there when they dumped him too.
No, but we were like off the air and like there was like 2 people in the building and they signed him and we like called the bat phone and we're like, everybody back, and we went live, and we're like, and we just started doing stuff. Yeah, because those things happen in the dead of night. That was a lot of fun. A lot of excitement back then.
Vintage Red Sox, exactly. I want that. So listen, we're gonna get an emergency.
I feel it. I feel it with Drake May too. I'm not kidding. I don't even want to get started on Drake, but yeah,
Drake's coming around. I'm coming around on Drake. I think Sunday night's gonna be a lot of fun. We'll see.
Yeah. So anyway, thank you guys for hanging out with us here on the Fenway Report. We do appreciate that. Couple program notes. Again, you can always subscribe. More Red Sox content coming here on our YouTube channel. You can always check that out as well. Subscribe and follow the Garden Report. That's where you know us, or many of you, as
Celtics
you do.
Coming up
there. So check that out. Subscribe to CLNS Media, our YouTube channel. Rate and review that show as well. And I got to tell you, WNBA Today, our new YouTube channel, we hit 1,000 subs in like 2 weeks.
Record
Thanks again to the great work of Noah Dalzell and Amit behind the scenes, really pushing out that content there. Exciting time. If you like WNBA content, check that out. Go ahead, Jimmy.
Just on the WNBA Today, I was cruising the WNBA Today videos. The women will just say whatever they want. They go. I mean, we got some great footage. Some great press conferences.
I've been saying that for a while. They're not as guarded as
they're I want to say borderline unhinged up there at the podium. That who's the coach that got suspended in the play? She was just throwing F-bombs out there, ripping the referees. She didn't total disregard. That was some great content.
They're pretty fed up. They're pretty fed up with a lot of what's going on there. So yeah, it's like you can see what's happening there. I think change is certainly coming. And this isn't anything that's crazy. Like people have been saying it all year, even before, these recent press conferences that have really put the commissioner on blast. But like,
yeah, she's been in hiding.
You've seen it all the way through. It's just, they got big really fast and they're in over their heads in terms of leadership and management, just not really sure how to handle what's going on here. And you need somebody who can. So that wouldn't be stunning. But again, it's going to be a fun offseason with WNBA, with everything that goes on. We'll have coverage of the unrivaled 3-on-3 league as well, but all the offseason stuff as well, as we sit here and we wait for them to give a team to Boston, which for some weird reason they're choosing not to do right now. Whatever. Anyway, it is what it is. Quick shout out once more to Prize Picks, #1 daily fantasy sports app in North America. You see it right there. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy. Code CLNS. Download the app. 50 in your lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. And Game Time. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. $20 off your first purchase when you download the app and insert the code CLNS. The Red Sox lose 4-0 in a pretty lifeless display. Game 3 of the AL Wildcard Series. The Yankees win this one 2-1. They go on to face the Blue Jays. The Red Sox go home. And the offseason begins, and we will bring you some offseason coverage, and hopefully there's some stuff going on. But until then, thank you for joining us for this little 3-night run that we were on. Sorry it can't go further, but we're hoping to do more down the road. And again, as Bobby said, this needs to be a perennial playoff team now that they've got some pieces in place. Hopefully they come back stronger than ever next year, and we're back here in this position.
We'll be back.
Rolling through the postseason. We'll be back. Thank you guys for watching. We do appreciate it. I know it came out of nowhere, so those of you who joined, thank you very much. And we'll see you on the Garden Report coming up probably in a couple of days as the Celtics season ramps up.
Let's go.
Take care, Gavin.